Stress is often described as an adaptive response to situations perceived as challenging or threatening to the person's well-being. The body reacts to these situations or changes with physical, mental, and emotional responses. It prepares us to adapt to hostile or noxious environmental conditions. There are many types of stress we can experience, but they essentially fall into two different categories, which are eustress and distress. Eustress refers to positive stress. It motivates people to achieve goals, improves performance, and makes them feel excited. On the other hand, distress refers to the negative stress. It generally feels unpleasant, often depletes energy, and decreases overall performance. So, what is work-related stress? Work-related stress is stress caused or worsened by work. It simply refers to a person's perception of the working environment in such a way that his or her reaction involves a feeling of inability to cope with it. It may be caused by heavy workloads, threats, or anxieties within the working environment.
Kerajaan memutuskan untuk melaksanakan Perintah Kawalan Pergerakan mulai 18 Mac 2020 iaitu lusa hingga 31 Mac 2020 di seluruh negara.
After the COVID-19 outbreak and the implementation of Movement Control Order on March 18, 2020, Amy voluntarily continued to work as a nurse at Hospital Kuala Lumpur to help the COVID-19 patients. She is directly engaged in diagnosing, treating, and providing nursing care to patients with suspected or confirmed COVID-19. Within days, her workload increased tremendously and she may have to work the whole night with frequent night shifts as more and more people got admitted to the hospital due to the deadly virus. In addition, medical staffs must be equipped with full-body protective equipment under negative pressure for long hours, and, to avoid the chance of being infected while removing the protective equipment, they are unable to eat or drink during working hours, which caused many of them to become dehydrated due to excessive sweating, and some even developed rashes. As a frontliner who treats patients infected with COVID-19, she is concerned with the availability and accessibility to the appropriate personal protective equipment, as she is being exposed directly to the life-threatening virus. She fears that she might have taken the infection home to her family. Moreover, seeing her coworkers got infected one by one further deprives her motivation, and at the same time increases her workload, as there are fewer medical staffs to meet the increasing number of patients. Not just that, the huge amount of misleading information circulating online about the COVID-19, from fake medical information to speculation of government responses, further worsens the situation. Under these dangerous environments and conditions, she becomes mentally and physically exhausted as well as feelings of distress. As time passes, she began to have frequent headaches, insomnia, and fatigue.
On the other hand, her husband, Steve, was required to work from home for the entire MCO period. Although working from home seems like an ideal environment, it can actually become stressful for him, especially with the ongoing lockdown and virus outbreak. It is not easy trying to keep calm and carry on as he is anxious about his future, worried that he might lose his job. So, what is stressful about working from home? Firstly, the lack of structure. The sudden nature of being thrown into remote working caused him to feel a lack of boundaries on when to get up and go to sleep, when to start and stop working, and when to log off of social media, and so on. It feels like his workday kind of blurs together into his home life, and this feeling of always at work can lead to burnout. Next is too many distractions. He is constantly distracted and hooked up by social media, television, and games, as there is little or no risk of being caught by supervisors. Not just that, he would also need to look after his son. Besides, he is also constantly distracted by his environment, from the noisy neighbors, to the sound of construction work near his house. All these activities drain productivity, and puts more stress on the rest of the day, when he saw that hours have passed with little to no productivity. In addition to the stress of working from home, his condition became worse when Steve was retrenched by the company. This led to him having mental breakdown and he started drinking alcohol excessively every day. In his drunken state, he would become aggressive and release his anger on both his wife and son.
A week later, Amy got herself infected with the COVID-19. It was like the end of the world to her. She was left alone to be treated in an isolation ward, feeling hopeless as she lay down on the bed experiencing excruciating pain, high fever, non-stop coughing, shortness of breath, and other symptoms. On top of that, she feared that she might have infected her family members, co-workers and those who had contact with her, thus putting more burden on herself.
In reality, work-related stress should not be taken lightly, especially during this global pandemic and ongoing lockdown, as can be seen from these news headlines. According to a study, of the 1,257 medical personnel, 44.6% had anxiety, 34% experienced insomnia, and 71.5% were distressed. Next, suicide rates among Michigan medical healthcare workers expected to increase by 32%. Lastly, from the poll of 500 workers, 48% spent more irregular hours than they would under normal conditions, 33% felt isolated, and 64% reported sleep loss due to increased concern of job security and health of family members.
For frontline health workers, hospitals should ensure strict disease prevention protocols are in place for medical staffs. Hospitals can rotate workers from higher to lower stress functions and partner inexperienced workers with more experienced colleagues. Government and companies can provide or donate personal protective equipment and medical supplies to those hospitals in need. Hospitals and government can offer 24 hours mental health hotline for the frontline workers to monitor their mental health and provide relevant support for them.
For employees working from home, first is to set and maintain a regular schedule. This helps to establish work-life boundaries, rather than working when you find the time. Secondly, make use of technologies such as software or apps to limit social media usage, set reminders to work when one becomes distracted for too long, create to-do lists, and so on. Next, stay connected by keeping in touch with family, friends, and co-workers through video calls or chat groups. Lastly, discuss issues face-to-face with managers through video calls, so that they can know what problems the employees are facing and provide relevant support to them.
Altogether, all parties should maintain healthy routines by exercising regularly, getting plenty of sleep, eating a variety of healthy food, and avoid the consumption of alcohol, smoking, and drugs.
Besides, everyone should stay informed but also set time limits for news and social media. And together, we can overcome COVID-19. Thank you.